What's good, everybody? Welcome in to Driving the Line on this gorgeous Sunday morning. Can you believe that we've already arrived at October 20th, 2024, Week 7 in the National Football League? I am the coach. If you're new to our little brand, we are here 6 days a week, Saturdays on demand. Every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We are live on Stadium tonight. Don't forget DTL Primetime live on Stadium, Amazon Prime, YouTube TV. Wherever Stadium is, so are we. We're growing by the day. And it's going to be a fantastic day across the NFL. And tonight, by the way, it's the Jets and the Steelers. Storylines abound. Now, we do have an on-demand show on Saturdays, thanks to AB who puts it together. And how did we do yesterday before we look forward to today? Not a bad day. Raphael, 2-0. I absolutely love it. How about my man AB, 3 out of 4. Charles in the 5-pack, 3-2. What's our motto here at DTL? We just want to win more than we lose. We keep it simple. We got content all over the board. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on your notifications every single time that we start a show, including the brand new DTL, the podcast, which drops every single weekday around 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Premium members, you get the video for free on the premium side. Now, on Sundays we keep it simple, and the Howie Schwab crew of the play today. Before we do this, let's take that down and let's bring the guys in. Then I'll do Howie Schwab crew play today because I need to talk to my man AB, my 5-tool player, and Big Chuck. Let's bring him in together for the picks. All right, on your way in, hit that like button for us. It really helps the show grow. All right, look who it is today, Big Chuck. But before we get started, we got to do the Howie Schwab crew play of the day so they get plenty of opportunities to vote. AB, real quick, what are our choices today?
Coach, good to see you, buddy. Look, Howie, he'd love it today. 2 games, 4 options. Lions plus 1.5, Vikings minus 1.5, Chiefs plus 2, 49ers minus 2. Polls in the chat. Vote now. Hosses. We'll update as we always do at the end of the show.
One of those games is at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the Lions and the Vikings. The other game, the Chiefs and 49ers, that's a late game. What else could you possibly want? I'll get back to AB in a second, but Big Chuck, the man from the Dirty, last night, we have been riding Mr. Soto the entire postseason. 3-run home run. The Yankees are now into the World Series. Good morning, sir.
And Coach Crew, yeah, that was a beautiful thing to see. They were the obvious choice to make it there, based on who they had to play. We just kind of played around with it. But, yeah, Yankees, obvious choice. So now if we can get those Dodgers in it, the suits are just foaming at the mouth for that matchup.
That's all they want, the Dodgers to beat the Mets. And either way, I think they'd be happy, to be honest. Either way. Also, speaking of happy, look at the jacket my man is wearing this morning. Now, it wasn't the prettiest dub, but in the SEC, when you're playing Alabama, a dub's a dub. AB, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Coach. I'd like to say that this show this morning is brought to you by Excedrin. All right, extra strength. Well done on that one. Yeah, big win. Welcome to the Thunderdome in the SEC. It's always tough. And all the Alabama coaches that came in to the stadium in Neyland yesterday, rocking those cigars. How those working for you, hosses? You enjoying those?
Corey says a dub is a dub. Now, we're always transparent here. AB, how much did you and Randall Mims drink last night? Because it was an afternoon game. So you guys had to start early, and then you had the entire night to celebrate. So I'm shocked you even got here this morning. I thought it was going to be me and Big Chuck, and I would have completely understood.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm awake, too. There's one.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
There's 2.
No.
I could keep going.
Oh, my God.
It was a solid night out here on Rocky Top.
Rocky Top. Hey, everybody.
And you've got the wild as a mink Melody Sue in the chat right there. So there we go.
Oh, man. Can everybody please type in the chat for us? Congrats, AB. We don't need to yell any more than that because right now he's already feeling. I feel for him, but sometimes we say it all the time here on the show. We are fans first, handicappers second, and educate and entertain third. And I just made that up on the spot. That's what we talk about in production meetings all the time. But sometimes there's certain nights that are more important than others. And last night for my man AB, because now Bama's got 2 losses. AB, go.
They do. And not to interrupt you, but I did want to say, all right, so when you're watching Major League Baseball, I just want to give a tip out there. All right, so we talked about Major League Baseball merch and that they crush it. And I told you, right? I had got one of those jackets. This is it right here that you see on the like in the dugout, except I got a Tennessee one. It is the most comfortable jacket on the history of the planet, right? So when you see it like tonight in the NLCS, like if you have a squad, like whatever it is, go get one. They're worth it.
Are they at Fanatics? Is that where you got them?
Yep.
Man, that dude has a license for literally every sport. He has the market cornered, which is exactly, I mean, they're with every single big organization. They have a deal with the WWE. They've got a deal with The Rock. They got to deal with everybody. That's what you do. When you share, you actually make more than when you try to do it just on your own. It's a novel concept. It's a novel concept. All right, we got best bets to get to. We've got a ton of football to talk about over the course of the next several minutes, but this is Sunday morning. It's on YouTube only. It's for OGs, and it's for all of our degenerates out there. So, Big Chuck, let me come over to you first because we are heavily, and I mean heavily invested in what is going on in Hot Atlanta today. The Seahawks and the Falcons, and currently at ESPN Bet, the Falcons are at even 3, the total of 51.5. But you have 3 plays from this game. Start us off.
Seattle games, they went over the total in 5 of 6, and Atlanta in 3 straight plus 5 of 6 when playing the Seahawks. I got this one at 51.5. We're seeing some 52s, but I love this one to go ahead and creep over this total. Next, we have DK Metcalf over 67.5 receiving yards. This is a classic big game spot for DK, who's averaging 78 receiving yards per game this season and only needing 68 as a huge discount. Next, Darnell Mooney, over 54.5 receiving yards. I love Darnell Mooney, and he continues to be one of Kirk's favorite options. He already has 45 targets through 6 games, and in a high-scoring game, I love him only needing 45 receiving yards. And then lastly, Kirk Cousins to throw interception. He already has 5 on the season, and I assume we're going to see plenty of passes. I'm sure he'll get upwards of 40, and along the way, he should serve up one to the Seahawks defense.
I think this could be the most exciting game of the entire day. We'll talk a little bit more about it coming up after we give out all of our picks. By the way, Melanie says, AB, Fanatics needs a deal with DTL. We agree with that. We absolutely agree with that. So we'll make a quick call. I had another one in here, too. Todd says, great games today. Go Green Bay. A little test. Glad it is here as well. I forgot to mention, AB, at the top of the show, we wanted to give a big shout-out to our guys Randall, who we wake up this morning and he gives us $100 tip. What is this all about, AB?
Yeah, Robert, our man Robert.
Sorry, Robert.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. I had Randall on your head in regards to that. Yeah, Robert, man, it's a super chat, and Robert's done it a couple of times now. So, dude, like for real, much respect, brother. Appreciate you, man. Like that means the world, for real.
It really does. We don't ask. I honestly don't even know how it works yet.
Yeah, Coach didn't even know what it was. So, like, yeah.
I don't even know. But it really helps because we reinvest in the show, little things, tech, and all this kind of stuff. It all costs. And as you're growing from the start, it matters. So thank you very much. We don't encourage anybody to do it, but if you want to and you have a good week, it is what it is. All right. Now, as we flow from Atlanta into my picks, and today, guys, I've had a really good week. So I am doubling down. I just went through last night. I said, find all the plays as I was watching the games that you like. Normally, it's like 2 or 3. I love all of these plays. So I like the Falcons. Now, last night they were 2.5 minus 127. Why? Because I buy the half a point. That's one thing I think we don't talk about here enough on the show. If you have it at 3, if it's not more than minus 130, I will buy that half a point. In the NFL, this happens all the time. College, not so much, but I love it. Buy that half a point down to 2.5. Then in that same game, Kyle Pitts over 39.5 receiving yards. He's gone over this number the last 2 weeks, and I think he's starting to pick up. I think the offense is starting to click. I think Kirk Cousins is looking for the big man tight end for the Falcons. And then I also like Kirk Cousins to go over his passing number, 267.5. The Falcons are now in first place. They're the team that everybody thought they would be coming into the year, 4-2. They've got the Bucs. They've got to keep playing well. And to play well, I know they've got Bijan Robinson on the ground, but it's not the running game that has made them successful. The last game against the Bucs, or last week against the Panthers, or whenever it is, Kirk Cousins is throwing for a lot of yards. I think he goes over 300 today against Seattle because Seattle will score. So the Falcons will have to keep on scoring. All right, AB, let me come over to you for your first two plays because obviously you've got your sights set on Titans and the Bills today, but there's a quarterback change. Educate me.
I know everybody's excited for Titans and Bills today, okay? And I'll tell you how excited I am, all right? You got blue on blue, which also matches my tongue because I had an ocean water before the show. Thank you, and shout out to Sonic there. All right, so we're going to go two plays out of this game. Titans at the Bills. All right, you got a brand new quarterback, Mason Rudolph, in for Will Levis. He's, quote-unquote, injured, but I think it has more to do with playing on the field. We're going to take Josh Allen and Mason Rudolph over 1.5 interceptions at plus 175. Now, Josh Allen hasn't thrown an interception all season. Not a single one. Am I playing it out of the odds that he's going to eventually throw one? Yeah, a little. But Mason Rudolph is going to throw picks too, and those count, right? So we only have to get to 2. I got this at BetMGM, but you can play those singularly if you'd like to. Mason Rudolph, though, is already up to around minus 180. Now, what we're also going to do in this game is we're going to play Mason Rudolph, longest completion, over 31.5 yards. And, Coach, let me tell you why we're going to play this.
Yes,
Number
sir.
one, go ahead. What is that?
No, I just said yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. So Mason Rudolph, first off, is going to be playing from behind. All right? There's a chance we get a lot of Bills prevent defense in the second half of this game. But, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Number 2, Mason Rudolph has a really nice deep ball. He doesn't do a lot of great passing, but he's been around the league, and he can throw 9 routes quite nicely. So we're going to take that. We're going to take it over 31.5. Could come on a deep bomb. Could come off a yak. All right? Doesn't matter how we get there, but we're going to get one over 31.5 yards. So take that. Take the interceptions. That's some fun.
All right, so those are the first 2. AB's got 3 more coming down the line. By the way, our girl Melanie says, hitting that like button is my tip, boys. Melanie, I want to be very clear. We don't encourage this. We just want to be thankful to Robert for doing it, but we don't expect anybody to do it. We've never asked for it, as you guys know, so I want to make that very clear. Also, AB, live update on the Patriots and the Jags, and somebody in the chat is saying they turned over to Gunsmoke because this game is so freaking boring right now. The Patriots are up 10-0 on a Jags team that has had to spend 2 weeks in London. Their head coach is on the hot seat, and AB, they come out today and score 0 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, we talked to Coach. We talked about this Friday morning and said, number one, all right, if the Jags wanted to play for their coach, that was last week, and they didn't do it, okay? Why would they do it now? Number 2, all right, Texas was looking ahead to Vandy. We called that one too.
They were. Boy, did they play horrible last night. Yeah. God, did they. They were looking for, oh, man. That SEC, heck, they may brutalize each other so much, they may only get like 2 teams. The over-under right now is 3.5, but they're all beating each other. My goodness.
In 3 weeks, Tennessee and Georgia. Let's go.
Wow, man. Jason says that coach, by the way, shouldn't make it past halftime. Well, Doug Peterson's a class act, and I think sometimes we forget about the human side of things. He's a really good dude. He's kind of at the end of his career, so you want to do it in a classy way, but the NFL is a brutal, brutal game, and if you don't win, they don't care who you are, unless you're Jerry Jones, of course. All right, Big Chuck, let me come back over to you. You've given all of our plays in the Seahawks and the Falcons, which I love. Obviously, I'm heavily invested as well. But we also have a big-time game at 1 o'clock Eastern this afternoon. The Lions and the Vikings, and the Lions now playing without Aiden Hutchinson for the very first time, coming off a 47-point performance last week in Dallas. What are those 2 plays, sir?
These 2 teams, they just play high-scoring games with 5 straight going over the total and 8 of 10. So I grabbed the over 50. We're seeing some 50.5s, but I was able to get the 50. You may even want to buy that down. And then I'm going with Jordan Addison, over 50.5 receiving yards. The Lions, they'll certainly try and take away Jefferson, leaving these options for Addison. He had 8 targets last week, so I think this is a nice spot indoors against this Lions defense he's familiar with to get us 50-plus receiving yards.
All right, very, very good. Japan says class act. 1 and 5 ain't class. Oh my gosh, Japan, I love you, but stuff like that drives me insane. His record has nothing to do with the human being that he is why everybody loves him in the NFL. Oh, I don't know why negativity right now. Negativity, I'm done with. I'm just, and I know it's probably sarcasm, but I'm done with and I'm not even talking here at the show. Our chat's amazing. I'm saying in general, AB. I just can't take the negative anymore. Are you with me, or am I being petty?
Yeah, no. You're right, Doug. First off, Doug. Look, I've spoken to Doug Peterson multiple times. That dude's phenomenal, and like, ask him about ice cream. That dude loves ice cream and gives it out. I saw him give it out to an entire team, a media group, and people who worked at the hotel. Like, Doug Peterson's a great dude. But no, man, hey, we're in the doldrums, right? We're getting in the middle of the season here. Like, yeah.
Usually the negativity usually goes with how their picks are doing or the kind of weekend they had or whatever. And I get that. But lashing out, and Japan, I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm saying in general. I did that Piers Morgan show on Friday. It was the #1 trending thing in America. It was crazy how many people watched that. And we had a lot of positivity.
Coach, it was funny because it came out on Friday, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So Friday night, I was just scrolling through Twitter, and it had to be 1 a.m, and my phone was just blinking of the trending, and it was you, all over it. And I was sending it to people, I was retweeting stuff. It was awesome, man.
Oh, thank you. It was a lot of fun to do. It was a lot of fun to do. All right. Let's get back to my picks for a second.
Mr. Russell said, "Go Dogs." He's fired up. Not the Georgia Bulldogs, baby. I love it.
All right, so I gave you guys 3 of mine. I'm going to give you all the rest of mine right here. Now, I know AB's not going to like this, but I like the Bills today -8.5. They made a big trade this week for Amari Cooper, and that shows me the Bills are understanding that they need to get better if they want to do something in the playoffs. They play in a horrible division. They're going to win their division. Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, they all stink. But the Bills understand it's not about just making it anymore. They lost Stephon Diggs. Get that. They needed another player. They got him. I like them to win by at least 10 today, certainly now that Mason Rudolph. Chargers money line. I like this at -125. I think by the time they play 2 Monday night games, by the way, this week, that it's going to go up. So I like it right now. The Chargers already have 2 away wins, and I think they're going to get it done again on Monday night. And then I already told you the Falcons, but I love the Packers over 48.5. The Texans and the Packers, they have their quarterbacks, Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud. They're both franchise quarterbacks. They're settled in. They have nothing to worry about but getting better coming off the playoffs from a year ago. I think there are a lot of points today. Then I like a little teaser. Chiefs, you take it to +8. Buccaneers +9.5, -120. Remember, I like normally to have it on a half a point because if you hit the normal or hit the number right on the head, it is a loss. But I don't think there's a world we live in that the Chiefs lose by more than a touchdown at the 49ers today. And then I have one more. I need to go back to the screen one more time, producer man, because I don't have it. Thank you very much. Stephon Diggs over 68.5 receiving yards. That's in that same game of the Texans and the Packers. Stephon Diggs has now routinely been going over 65, 70 yards. And against this Packers defense today, I think he goes over 70 yards again. Thank you, producer man, for that. So an abnormal amount of picks for me, AB. So I'm going to put myself out on a limb today, a big limb.
I like it. You know where the fruit is?
Where's the fruit?
Out on the limb, baby. Let's get it.
Let's get it. All right, you got 3 more plays today, AB. Give them to me.
We do. Patrick Mahomes throws an interception in every game, and they win every game. All right, so I'm not worried about the Chiefs whatsoever, but I do like to play Mahomes over half an interception at -120. We're also going to play the other side, Brock Purdy at +100, because let me tell you this, all the pressure is on San Francisco. And I think that you're going to see Purdy and the 49ers press a little bit, especially early. They're going to want to play with a lead. So I do like playing both of those quarterbacks, but I like playing them singularly. And yeah, to answer in the chat, somebody asked, is Mason Rudolph starting for the Titans? Yes. Do I like the Bills -8.5? Yes. Yeah, 100% that I do. So, yeah, it was a great call by Coach. And then finally, we have one more play on here. And then, okay, so look how it's broken out, all right? Singular, Josh Allen and Mason Rudolph, and then stuck right there in the middle, C.J. Stroud over half an interception at -120. Now, I love CJ Stroud. You know that. I've never said a negative word about him, never said a negative word about D'Amico Ryans and the Texans, and I never will. I love this team. I love everything that they are about. Their makeup, their locker room. It's all positive vibes, and this team is awesome. But the Packers are the best secondary in the NFL, and they intercept almost everybody, all right? And they have no problems, especially Xavier McKinney. Dude's already got 5 picks, and he's looking to make it 6. So I think we're going to have a great game between the Texans and the Packers. But, CJ, sorry, but, man, you're in the no-fly zone today. The Packers, they handle business with interception.
Jared said it's always fun to watch Diggs and Jair Alexander. They call him Jair Island, go at it. They hate each other. They really do.
Yeah.
Alexander is maybe the most confident defensive back in the entire league.
Oh, I'll tell you this. Jair Alexander earlier in the season when the Packers and the Titans were playing each other, Jair literally called out to Will Levis, I'm going to pick 6 you. And then the next throw, he picked 6.
That's like
can't throw to him. He's like Darrell Reeves,
type
man.
Of stuff. That's Deion type of stuff right there. Quick question from the chat. Charles, Wolfsburg, I'm assuming they're playing the late game this morning in the Bundesliga. I did not look at the schedule. Team total over 1.5 from KY4. Do you like that at all?
I absolutely do. I could see a 2-2 type of match in this one.
All right. Bundesliga, normally on Sunday mornings, they have 2 games, and that one's probably the 2:30 Eastern game, 11:30, if my memory serves me correct. Probably good on that one. All right, so all of our picks are out there. We've got a lot of picks today. Raven Derelict says, Coach is setting himself up for a ho-hum day with that many picks. Believe me, I get it. But last night I just said, what do I love? And I loved all of those. So I think it's going to be a really big day for us. But as we start in Green Bay, and Charles, we have a lot of plays from this game. And sometimes when you're in the doldrums of a season like this and you're on week 7, you can see the Packers now, that number 3, the total 48.5. I like a lot of points. But this, to me, is really a place that C.J. Stroud or Jordan, I think there will be the interceptions, just like AB said, because sometimes you get caught up in who you're playing against quarterback-wise instead of team-wise. What's your take on this game today at 1 o'clock Eastern?
Yeah, I'm liking the Packers in this spot, especially -3 and under. If it gets to 3.5 or upwards of 4, then you may want to look at the Texans. But yeah, right now I'm liking the Packers in this spot, especially with the Texans still missing Nico Collins. So I think that this ball hawking Packers defense are going to try to give CJ Stroud some problems, and we should see some points. He still should get his. So I think we'll see a high scoring game. But at the end of the day, I think the Packers will win by at least 3 at worst, or 3 or more. So yeah, back in the pack in a high scoring game.
Yeah, it's kind of been that way, AB, that the Packers, even though they had to play 2 games without Jordan Love, your guy Malik Willis stepped in and he kept everything cool, because this is the one division, and this is one of our stats of the day, 17-5. It's the best start for any division in the history of the NFL through this week, I believe is the exact verbiage. So the Packers cannot afford to lose this game today, because all other, the Bears, the Lions, and who's the fourth? Oh, Vikings. Vikings, of course. They are just as good as they are. They're tied for last at 4-2 in their division.
Crazy, right? I mean, this division's unbelievable. And you look at Green Bay, and you talked about Malik Willis stepping in. You know what that goes to show you? Like, their locker room is right. They're like, everybody's moving together on the same page, right? It doesn't matter. Next man up mentality. And that's what Green Bay's been doing all year long. And Houston's the same way. Like, I hate picking that one team has to lose this game because they're both awesome. I love everything about them, but I agree. Green Bay at home. Yeah, keep an eye on the field goal kicker, though. That worries me a little bit. If you get a spread over 3.5, but if you're 3 and under, as Chuck said, yeah, I agree.
And maybe if you like it, buy it down to 2.5. I know there's some people out there that don't like buying a half a point. In the NFL specifically, I like buying a 7 down to 6.5. I like buying a 3 down to 2.5. I like buying a 10 down to 9.5. In this league, this matters. It
Coach,
really, really does.
Yeah, look, to back up what you're saying. All right, look, since 2015, 4.3% of all NFL games, all of them have ended exactly 3 points. All right. So you moving it down to 2.5. You know what you just did? It's like play the stock market. You just added 4.3% positive EV to yourself. All right. That's a lot. That number doesn't sound big, That's a big number.
Big
number.
Big numbers.
Yeah, 5% of all NFL games over the last decade almost. Yeah, like that's how much EV that you're adding to yourself by just moving it from 3 to 2.5.
Hashtag educate and entertain. Live update. The Jags have finally scored. It's now 10-7, and Zach says, I took the Pats live at plus 110. You're our live guy, Chuck. Anything that you see right now that you like at all?
I would.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would. So I was going to say something that was 10 down. I'd really like the Jags. They were like plus 2.5, plus 3. Call me crazy, but I still think this is a Jag spot. I think at the end of the day, they still come back and win this one. So the minus 2.5, the money line's minus 166. So anything in that. So if you can get anything on money line related, if it comes down, if the Patriots have a good drive, anything like that, if you can get it minus 135 and under, or the minus 2.5, Jags, I still like that. I just, as long as all you have to do is win by a field goal, and it's at that 3-point margin right now. So, yeah, anything related with the Jaguars winning.
Okay. AB, you agree with that?
Bingo. 100%.
I agree. The Patriots can't score. That 10 points is kind of their max so far. They get to 10, and they're pretty much done. So you're getting that in the second quarter. Currently 9:20 to go before halftime. We'll keep you up to date with live updates here on DTL. Now, the next game on the docket at 1 p.m. Eastern this afternoon, it's not on our board. Those are kind of the big games that we're looking at. Actually, I will do that, and then I'll move to the Eagles-Giants in a moment. Let's go to that Lions and Vikings, because it has direct bearing on the Texans and the Packers. And, AB, I'll start with you on this one. Vikings are the only undefeated team left in the NFC. The Lions, in my opinion, are the best team right now playing in the NFL. I am shocked. This one started around 2.5, and I predicted by kickoff it would be at even. I'm probably going to be a little bit off on that, but the number has come down to 1.5. Maybe it's because I haven't watched the Vikings a lot so far this season, but I have watched the Lions a lot, and it's been their offense that's been getting the job done. So losing Aiden Hutchinson, yeah, it's significant, but that's not the side of the ball that's been playing great this year.
No, and I'll tell you this, man. Like in football, usually when you have a big injury to a big player, the next week is a huge rally around, right? And did you see the reports that came out this week? All right, well, about Aiden Hutchinson. Those aren't coincidence. All right, those were put out saying if the Lions make the Super Bowl, Hutch is going to be back for the Super Bowl. And he told the team, one game at a time, fellas, one game at a time. You get there, I'll be there. I promise you. I love the Vikings, love everything about them. Lions might go off today.
That could be the greatest motivational message any team could ever have. Charles, let me come over to you. If you see like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and that being Aiden Hutchinson, with even the thought they love him so much, and he's a Michigan guy, went to Michigan. His dad went to Michigan. He's everything Detroit wants to be, with their head coach leading the way. To have that that big carrot out there, even if it is not possible, it's a great way to get his team focused on where they ultimately should be, in my opinion, is the Super Bowl. Do you think they will have a hard time getting up today against the Vikings?
They shouldn't. A division rival. So, no, this should be one they have circled. They should know the importance of this game, especially as tight as this division is. Although I kind of have a lean toward the Vikings in this spot. I think it could be a letdown for the Lions, but at the same time, anything can happen in these games. I do think it's going to be high scoring. So, but Campbell putting out any inspiration for the team, that always helps. So I know that Hutchinson's loved within the locker room. So anything he can do to give extra motivation to the troops has to benefit the team as a whole.
Melanie says, I'm rooting hard for the Lions today. I love Dan Campbell. Melanie, I do too. That video at the end of the game last week saying, we've never been more together. We've never been right here. That stuff resonates with me. That's what football is all about. Now, just kick a field goal once in a while. And I think Dan Campbell is going to be great. Now, another guy that takes chances. And if you would have told us a year ago, AB, that at 10-1, the Eagles would fall off a cliff, Jason Kelce would retire, they start off slow, and you're yelling at your own fan base on your own sidelines in a 4-point win over the Browns, and then you don't want to deal with it after the game, and then the next day you got to put out an apology. It's all bad right now for a team that is not that bad. Do you think Nick Sirianni's job is on the line today in any way, shape, or form?
I think we're already seeing the beginning of the end, right? Like, I don't think that it's on the line today, but once you start yelling at the fans, you can't win that fight. You can't win that fight. It's you're always going to lose against the fan base. But you ready for this? All right.
Yes.
So I'm sitting here counting coaches' wins today. Everybody's doubting my man. All right, I got the tape measure out here. We're just counting them. So I'm going to count. Giants are going to beat the Eagles. They're going to beat them straight up. I don't even want the points. I don't even want the points.
You don't care about the 3?
Nope.
You play plus 130 on the money line.
Yep. Giants go beat the Eagles. Now, what you have to worry about, Saquon Barkley, all right? Revenge, first game against the Giants. Like, that's there. That, like, understand that. Like, anytime TD, I think it's like minus 170 or something like that. Like, Saquon's probably going to score. But the Giants could beat the Eagles. I trust the Giants locker room more than I trust the Eagles.
So, anytime touchdown, you're pretty much dead on. To score the first touchdown of the game, Saquon is plus 400. Anytime touchdown is minus 155. 2 touchdowns is plus 380. Maybe a little sprinkle, Big Chuck. Maybe a little sprinkle on that. What do you think?
Yeah, you would have to look that because they know Saquon's going to have extra motivation to have a big game, but at the same time, it could blow up on him, and the pressure could makes pipes burst. So it could be one where he fumbles a lot. But yeah, if you were going to look at anything, you would have to look at the multiple touchdowns for Saquon in this spot.
Did you hear that?
I heard it. Say it for me, AB. Say it for me.
Hey, look, no pressure, no diamonds, but now I love it. Pressure makes pipes burst. That is an awesome quote. And look, if you're betting the Giants, look, I'm an idiot. I learned this while I was in detention every day at school. Take the points, kids. Like, do not, like, you don't have
to. You don't think that doing this, they lost by 2, but I didn't take the points. I'm a bad man.
I'm going to tell you this, like, for real, you have no idea how much time I spent in in-school suspension and detention. I had to go from practice.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
Yeah, like, they would let me out to go to practice, right? And then I would just come back and spend till like 6 o'clock at night. Oh, my God. It's happened a lot.
And then you tried to reason with your teacher, talking about.
I tried to talk my way out of it. That didn't work. I'd have to walk home from school. My dad was like, "What is wrong with you?"
And we're still asking the same question all these years later. Quick shout out, a couple guys in the chat. Roger says, "How can anybody not tease Kansas City plus 8?" That's part of my teaser, and the Steelers plus 8 as well. Come on, the Steelers they're a great teasing game that we'll talk about tonight on Primetime Live, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Stadium as well. So as we get to that next game, and we talked about Lions and Vikings, and the Eagles and Giants, it's one of those situations. Chuck, AB's predicting a Giants win. If you watched them play last week, they're not a bad football team. It was a late touchdown by the Bengals that had them not cover that particular game. But if they can get things going, man, at home and the Eagles turn on each other, this might be a great spot to maybe sprinkle a little bit on the Giants money line.
Yeah, I love the Giants. I play a little safer with the +3 for sure at home. You're catching the dog at home, and then I believe Malik Neighbors is coming back in this game, so they get their main primary weapon back. So, yeah, I'm all over the Giants +3. I think a division rival, Eagles coming into town. So, yeah, give me the Giants +3 all day.
You're damn right. What a great, incredible live number this morning. All you guys getting up and making time for us. We certainly do appreciate it. Tell all your friends because the number every week is just growing. And hit that like button on the way in. It really helps the show grow. Now, a game that we're heavily invested in. And, Chuck, I'm going to come right back to you because me and you have a lot of plays in this game. When I look at how the Falcons are playing, 3 wins in a row, 38, 36, 26. So they're starting now, I think, to really figure out what Kirk Cousins is all about. I think his weapons really want to play hard for him. I think he's realizing how much Kyle Pitts can open up all the other wide receivers for this football team. Why, when you were handicapping all of these games today, why this one so heavily invested?
It just sticks out indoors. These teams, basically track stars on both sides. Yeah, the Falcons, Pitts, Drake London, Ray, Darnell Mooney, Bijan. Then you have the Seattle that loves to sling it. So we already know Geno has DK and Jigba and company. So, yeah, I just think this one's going to be a track meet. These teams just like to throw the ball, and we've seen both teams in high-scoring games. The Falcons, it looks like the offense is clicking 3 straight, so they're coming around. And then we already know Seattle, that's their forte. They love to throw the ball. So, yeah, I'm expecting an exciting one. I like the first quarter over, first half over, team total over. So there's a plethora of opportunities to cash in this one.
That Thursday night game, AB, when you said this could be crazy, this could be nuts, we have no idea what's going to happen, and they go out and score 66 points. Since then, it seems like everything is just clicking for the Falcons. So all of those plays that Charles just said, there's synergy with everything today, but they've got to get off to a good start.
They do. And, it's in the passing game, right? Like, I mean, they've got great running backs, and they just don't ever run the football. And you know what? I say that as a good thing when you're in a rhythm. All right. And we talked about this with Josh Heupel and Tennessee's offense. You noticed in the second half of that game last night. All right. Once they started getting back to tempo, the offense was completely different and everything looked perfect. Ball didn't even touch the ground. That's what the Falcons are in right now. They're just in a rhythm and throwing, and Kirk Cousins is feeling it. The offensive line knows exactly how much time they have. They're getting the ball out fast. Like, this Falcons team is awesome to watch. So exactly what you just said, like, stay in rhythm, start quickly, and go. And Kirk Cousins is doing that, man.
You're damn right. Shout out to Chicago, Pat. You guys are coffee for my day. You guys are awesome. We love doing it, man. We literally, there's nothing else that we ever want to do, ever. That's why we continue to grow every single day. So, Chicago, thank you for that note. We love all of you in the chat. Just keep talking amongst each other. We have crew members dropping in and out. DG's been in there. Raphael's been in there. So we all try to do it when we have the time, which is very, very much appreciated. All right, moving on. Bengals and Browns, yuck. 2-4, 1-5. They don't deserve the time. Dolphins and Colts, 2-3, 3-3, yuck. They don't deserve the time. However, what do you always like to say, Charles? Sneaky over. This could be a sneaky over. Well, the Panthers, even though they haven't been winning with Andy Dalton, they have been scoring with Andy Dalton. And then on the flip side, you got the Commanders coming off that 7-point loss last week against the Ravens, but Jaden Daniels has solidified himself as a legit big-time NFL quarterback. This total is sitting at 51.5. Would you touch it?
Yeah, I think I'd probably bring it down to 51, but that'd probably be my max. I think it started at 48 and it's been consistently creeping up. So yeah, I love this one. That's the one thing the Panthers can do. They may not win games, but they'll certainly score points. And we know that their defense is going to allow points to this Commanders offense. So yeah, I would definitely look at this. Another one we could see first half points, full game points, team totals, Jaden Daniels props. So Scary Terry props. So yeah, I love this one for the offenses are starting to click and they're starting to catch up with the defenses. We're seeing that. We saw a large amount of overs last week. So I think that's going to just continue to go this week also.
And that's kind of where my mind has been going the last couple of weeks, AB, is as many unders that were coming in, we're now seeing these offenses make adjustments. I think with teams like the Falcons and Kirk Cousins, or here with Jaden Daniels, I don't think the Commanders thought they would be 4-2. I think this is like playing with house money. Now they need to start thinking, well, we've got 5 years with this kid before we pay him $50+ million a year. Let's put as much around him as we can. And they already have some really good weapons, but they also give up points. That's why I like the over. What about you?
Yeah, I like the over for sure, man. Keep an eye on Brian Robinson, all right, for Washington here, running back. Now, here's 2 stats for you, okay?
Let's go.
Guess the percentage of overs that the Panthers have hit this year. Over 75%, by the way. It's a weird number.
75%?
It's 83%. All right, the Panthers
5 out of 6. Is that 5 out of 6?
Yep. Guess Washington.
5 out of 6?
83%, both of them. Yeah. These two teams don't play a lot of defense, and they score a lot of points. Andy Dalton's looked good. All right, with Carolina, he's looked better than, Bryce. Yeah, he's a veteran, man. Like, he can score points. Now, they'll give them up just as fast as they score them, which is good if you're playing overs there. So, yeah, man, Charles is right. Numbers ticked up on the total for a reason. and both teams score a lot of points. I would be surprised if this game gets close to 60, honestly.
That's exactly what I think. You could see both teams in the 30s or like a 35-25, something like that. Big Chuck, you called it. The Jags have scored again. It's now 14-10, about 3 minutes left before halftime in London after trailing 10-0. The live number now, Charles, as we look at it, is Jags -7.5. So that 2.5 number, that is long gone if people didn't get it when you told them to.
Look at the money line also, -520. So it was hovering around the -145 to -155 range. So, yeah, that was the time to act. It may come back, but I think that the Jaguars, they should ride this momentum all the way to the finish line. So they still need to at least get a field goal or more to cover the closing line. So I would not expect well, we may see the Patriots come back and fight, but once you get momentum in a game, it's a tricky thing.
It really, really is. So we'll keep our eye on that. That game, by the way, is on the NFL Network. If you're wondering, put it on the big screen, and then you can put us on the little screen. All right, moving on. And this game, I've seen so many, and maybe this is why I'm so agitated with negative people this week, is because I like to wake up, and I've been doing this new thing, AB, that I wake up in the morning. Out here, it's about 5 a.m. every day. I get up, and I start with like 10 minutes of gratitude, of silence, of just kind of getting my head clear. And then I read on social media, why aren't the Chiefs and 49ers flexed to the Sunday night game? I don't even think we're in the flex mode yet. I think I don't know exact week, but I don't think it's week 7 that you can flex teams. I think it's in December is when you can flex teams. But this is a fantastic 425 game. We'll get to sweat it live on DTL Primetime Live, probably the last quarter or so, which will be awesome. Maybe we'll get to live bet it a little bit. So I like the fact that we're getting it in the afternoon. But AB, the 49ers have the Chiefs in their heads. They've lost in the Super Bowl to them twice. And Patrick Mahomes always seems to figure out a way. And how about this stat for you, AB and Big Chuck? 21-4 coming off a bye week. Andy Reid, talk to me, big boy. 21-4 going on the road as underdogs. Still undefeated. Your thoughts, AB?
Chiefs have exactly where they want them, right? In terms of like the mental game beforehand. Because like you said, all right, the 49ers are already thinking about it. They're the ones talking all week, having to answer questions. Oh, how does it feel to play? Blah, blah, blah. Chiefs aren't answering those questions. And the Chiefs are coming off a bye. And that's why Andy Reid is so good. You just show up and play. You know what I mean? Now, I'll tell you something fun about this game. Now, I'm with you. First off, I love your to start the day routine. That's fantastic, right? Like, it's awesome. I'm with people who say that they're tired of seeing the Jets in primetime. I am too. I'm very tired of seeing the Jets in primetime, even though tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be a great show. Let me say this, though. The Chiefs and the 49ers, you're going to see a game that there is no other teams with more what I would call eye candy, all right, at the line of scrimmage, meaning these two teams, they will move people around all over the line of scrimmage. All right. You're going to have tight ends, wide receivers that are moving in, moving out, on, off. And they do that because it moves your defense and the quarterback can see, oh, that's where the spy was. Oh, that's where the robber was, right? That's where the star was. Like, that's why they do it. And that's why the quarterbacks are so good. So watch that game and watch all the movement at the line of scrimmage. Dude, it's going to look like a school dance, man. People are all over the place. But yeah, how do you bet against the Chiefs, dude? Like, how do you bet against them? And you're getting points?
That's the thing. It's how do you bet against them? But then when we look at props, Charles, you say to yourself, how do we bet on them? Because right now they've got one wide receiver that if you walked up to a guy on the street who's a moderate football fan, say, hey, who's the wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs? They wouldn't be able to tell you. Xavier Worthy's a rookie. They wouldn't be able to tell you because it's names that nobody's really ever heard of or they're OGs like Juju. But then Travis Kelce, who spent his entire off week in New York City. And by the way, did you guys see this? Jason Kelce, who I'm getting overload on as well. Him, the wife, the daughter, Mama Kelce, all flew to Miami to go to the Taylor Swift concert at Hard Rock Stadium on Thursday or Friday. The thing that blew my mind, AB, is that Jason Kelce parked in the regular parking lot with how does he not get a limo or car service, or Taylor has them brought right up to the back of the stadium? They parked where you paid $30 for parking.
That's why I respect it. That's why I respect it. Dude, if I was him, I'd be doing the same thing. Like, hey, we ain't special. We're just a couple people trying to go to a concert here. We're going to park in there. Hey, we're going to tailgate a little bit too. Like, I'm getting out of the car and opening a beer as we're walking on the way inside. I don't care that I know Taylor Swift. Like, I'm not saying me. I'm saying like as him. But yeah, like, dude, we're crushing a Miller on the way in for sure. We're just regular folks. Yeah. Hand me one of them Chesterfields. I have a cigarette with you.
By the way, quick update. The Jags, and this one's over 90 yards, guys. Over 90-yard punt return for the Jags, pending the extra point to go up 21-10. So in the second quarter alone, they have outscored the Patriots 21-0 if they make this extra point. And the Pats just continue. I mean, they stink. You know, they have Drake May. They're just not a very good football team. The Bills have got to feel incredibly lucky, Charles, that they play in this division of 2-3 Miami, and they're going to get worse. 2-4 the Jets. They got the Steelers tonight, and then you got New England about to be 1-6 if this thing continues. So that's why the Bills, in my opinion, as we move to that game against Tennessee at home, not only do they need to win these games, which I believe that they will, and we believe that they will, but they need to get better. It can't be about just winning the AFC East.
Oh, they certainly their division to lose at this point. There's no stumbling blocks. They can't lose to Tennessee. Although anytime Mason Rudolph is under center, you know, he can definitely pull a shock. So I like him. I'm surprised he doesn't get as much love. Everyone's always saying negative remarks about him, but all he does is generally win. So, but yeah, that's definitely theirs to lose. But you know, Miami, they should be getting Tua back here shortly. So I know they're optimistic about his arrival back under center. But I'm the Bills. I'm looking straight ahead. No stumbling blocks. Let's win as many as we can. We don't want the Jets to catch fire or the Dolphins to get any momentum with Tua back.
How do you mentally, AB, approach a situation like Chuck just said, where the other three teams, you know, in your heart of hearts, they're not good football teams. They're not good football teams, excuse me, and they're not going to go anywhere. But you're also playing in the Patrick Mahomes era. And he has now got the Bills number. He's got the Ravens number. When we're talking about playoffs, because that's where now everybody is judged for Hall of Fame, for All-Pro, perception to the public. And I think for Josh Allen, he is sick and tired of people not saying he's in that category because they haven't been able to get past the Chiefs yet. Isn't that the mentality now for the Bills?
It is, but it is, and you also can't have that be it. And what I mean by that is this: it has to be one game at a time. And I know that that's cliche, but it's for a reason. And you say, look, we can't win the Super Bowl in week 7, but we can beat the Titans. We could do that. We could get better. Amari Cooper's walking in the door, got a brand new teammate. We could get better, right? So you're right that in the back of your head, I mean, legacy is legacy. You know what I mean? But all we could do is play the game that's in front of us. We go out and win that game, stay healthy, and we can get better. That's where it takes a really good locker room. You know who you ask? Ask the Detroit Lions. Ask Dan Campbell. You remember it wasn't long ago, 3 years ago, they lost what? 15 games by 3 points or less?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, they lost all of them close. And Dan Campbell was like, keep believing, keep believing, keep believing. And you know what they did? Look at him now. Like, it didn't take, that was not long ago. Jared got, like, this whole team is the same team. And look at him now. So that's how you approach it, man.
But it's so hard to do that in the NFL. It's really, really hard. But the Lions are a perfect example of that. And then, Chuck, as we get back to that Chiefs team for a second, people love props. But there's just not a lot of props that you can bet on, because whether you're talking about yards, completions, attempts, Mahomes could go out there and throw for 300. Most of the time, though, he's been in like 200 to 250 range, because all they're trying to do is figure out how to win football games. They don't care how it looks. They don't care how nice it is. They just beat the Saints 26-13. The defense is severely underrated. And if they get ahead of the 49ers, we're talking about on the NFC side of things now, I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that have at least 4 wins already. And San Francisco is not one of them. They are tied for first place with Seattle at 3-3. So don't look now, but the 49ers, not only do they have to get right because CMC ain't coming back, but they need to understand that the NFC is the power conference this year, and they can't continue to be 500 or below 500. Your take, Charles?
Yeah, the 49ers definitely know they need to get back. It's a get right. It's a stacked conference across the board. And what's crazy is this line has went, and we're seeing 2. So they're really thinking that this is going to be a 49er spot. I've stood pat saying I like the 49ers in the first half and look at the Chiefs in the second half, regardless what the score is. Plus, we may even see some points. But and then as far as the Chiefs and options, I mean, I think it's just Xavier Worthy, and look at Kelce, and the field goal kicker has to come into play also. So yeah, those are some main components of their offense. But this one is tricky. It keeps going farther and farther towards the 49ers as a spot for them to win. It's just hard to back them, especially with the Chiefs getting points. It's just line reminds me so much of the Super Bowl all week leading up to that. It was just everyone was on the Chiefs, even though the 49ers were the favorite. Chiefs were getting all the money, but at the end of the day, the Chiefs still covered, won as dogs. So until they get beat, it's hard to go against Andy Reid coming off that bye week.
A lot of things, but we tease about Taylor Swift, and we tease about. I'm not teasing about the fact that perception is reality, AB, and the fact that he cannot even stay in Kansas City on a bye week, and everybody else, coach, he can do what he wants. He's a big boy. They're undefeated. I don't care. He's a captain of this football team, and he needs to be the best version of himself. And when he was clearly out of shape coming in, and then he clearly was not ready at the beginning of the year, but now the last couple of weeks, he did have 9 catches, went over his number there, 70 yards, both numbers there. The game before, 7 for 89. So apparently 2 games is good enough for you to go, screw everybody, what they're saying and all of that. And I want to go hang out with my boo before her tour commences for the final 2 months. Do we think he's going to continue to get better as the numbers suggest potentially? Or is this just Travis Kelce kind of starting to fall off that cliff just a little bit?
It's a fascinating question, right? I mean, look, he's showing up. So it's like, how do you speak? Like, and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying like in general, like, so he's showing up right now. So how would anyone theoretically speak negative about it? But all it takes is one game when you don't show up. And then it's like, okay, I just saw a commercial. He's hosting a new show called Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity or something?
Correct.
Yeah. Like, how much time do you got, buddy? Like, when is all this going down? You know what I mean? So, look, you win 3 Super Bowls, life opens up. I can't complain, but, I mean, the question's there, especially when everyone around you on the team is falling off, like, from injury.
That's exactly what I was saying. And Jason in the chat says, come on, coach, there's a human side of things too. I get all of that. The show that AB's talking about, clearly they taped it in the summer. He's got these 2, what do you call them? Not agents, but they're like whatever you want to call them. But they put out 2 years ago, they said, we're going to make the Kelce stars. And we have a plan to do that. They have executed that to the nth degree. $100 million podcast deal, commercials all over the place. This show that AB just mentioned, Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? My boy John Cena used to host the Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? It's kind of an offshoot of that. But what AB's saying is the perception is that he's out there doing it right now. And this is maybe his last year. Next year might be his last year. He can go to all the New York trips he wants, all the concerts that he wants when he's done playing. We have a chance to do something that's never been done before, win 3 Super Bowls in a row. Let's make that number 1. All right, guys. Hard to believe we've gone 54 minutes. I thought we were going to like 20 minutes and we'd be done almost an hour because there's so many things to talk about. Let's wrap things up with our final takes on what we believe could happen this afternoon or something big you want people to look for today. Charles, let's start with you. What do you got?
I still see in points. I think that these offenses continue to trend up. So the days of as many unders coming in may be in the little rear view for the moment. So yeah, keep looking for high scoring games in NFL.
All right, AB, your final take.
Yeah, you see, two big games that are AFC, NFC, in terms of the Texans and the Packers and the Chiefs and the 49ers. Lions and Vikings are the same division. That would mean something. This one's going to be a fight. I cannot wait to watch that game. It's going to be awesome, man.
So much on the line. That's where my mind is going. There's a lot of really good matchups today. I want everybody to go into today saying, listen, this could be the best week of the season so far. Texans, Packers, Lions, Vikings, Chiefs, 49ers. I know we're a little bit Jets fatigued, but that's a really good, important game tonight. The Steelers are a first-place team. And who's going to be under center? Is it going to be Justin Fields? Is it going to be Russell Wilson? It's fascinating. Those are just 4 of the games today, and we didn't even mention the Seahawks playing a 10 a.m. local body clock time game against the streaking Falcons. So much to watch. We'll recap it all tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, DTL Prime Time Live, only on Stadium. And for you OGs and you degenerates out there, you can also watch right here on our YouTube channel. So with all that being said, I'm getting ready to enjoy myself a little second half and some afternoon football. There's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My entire crew, Lumbo, my man from the Dirty Chuck, AB, 5-tool player, producer man, always behind the scenes, making the show look like $1 million. And what a great live audience we had today. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. Is truly what we're all about right here every single day on Driving the Line. Good luck.